This is the dialogue looking at the mystery and controversy around Lubowa Specialized Hospital, and of course looking at the infightings, the intrigue, and the push and shove within the opposition national unity platform, which actually seem to threaten the future of the young opposition party. Charita Himsiwe Karebo, the human rights activist in the studios, Richard Baguma, and Dr. Jared Werewanzara to take you through these big events. Finally, on this particular issue, the messages are coming in. Good morning, Apollo, and all the dialogue panelists. My question is, when the budget is brought to Parliament, what do the leader of oppositions do? Thanks for the program. I'm Alex from Kisugu, and he's asking why the members of opposition do not object to these allocations.
But he shouldn't shift that blame only to the opposition MPs, because every MP who is worth of a name in that house has a role to play in passing the budget or stopping the process.
Not only opposition MPs.
Not only.
Mr. Apollo, how far can we prove that it is not the president who seconded the contractor? Yet we had and saw a clip when he's saying that Pinetti had no idea completely. I am ex-convict CEO Maronita Investment. Isn't he mixing two issues? I think the president talking about Pinetti having no idea about the project that was the coffee processing chain. Thank you so much for watching. You can keep on sending these messages, and we'll be looking at those observations as we proceed. Gentlemen and the lady, let's go straight to what is happening in the opposition national unity platform. And Richard Baguma, take your first shot. Tell us what you think. That letter that had no signature, but of course had a logo of NUP, but it was later confirmed that it is official, instructing Honorable Commission of Parliament Mathias Mpuga to resign because he has run away from the principles of the party, which include integrity, which include service to the people, and he was accused of abuse of office as well as corruption because he received 500 million as a service award.
I'll start with the act itself. I think it's difficult for one to extricate himself if you sit in a committee and you claim that the committee awarded you 500 million, you were part of that committee. It's very hard to extricate yourself. It certainly is not correct, particularly in the circumstances. So you can't come and say, so the moral high ground, you lose it. I think that's one. But I also think for me, I am not a lawyer, but I also think that we need to question conflict of interest. Yeah, in this, you are part of this group and you are awarding yourself 500 million.
But before you move away from the issue of conflict interest, we know very well that the Parliamentary Commission is the only body that appropriates for Parliament. And,
and I was coming to that.
And it's within the law.
I was coming to that.
And he finds himself on the commission.
No, I was coming to that. So I started with the moral. I didn't start with the legal. I started with the moral. And they said, morally, you lose the moral high ground. Definitely, you are in a moral valley. That one is very difficult for you to extricate yourself. Then we can go to the legalistics now, and the accountabilities, the audits. Then there, you are. This is what has been happening over the life of Parliament. It's that the Parliamentary Commission. But those decisions sometimes are brought on the floor. And that's why the people of Uganda have been quarreling. Because the emoluments, the amounts for cars, the amounts for travel, the allowances for travel, people don't know how much the MPs earn for travel. The amounts for health, the Parliament is the largest. It takes probably 90 or so %. The Nani was on the floor of Parliament crying. The Secretary to the Treasury, the PSST, was saying, look, it is you, Parliament, you are saying there is too much money going on treatment of Ugandans outside Uganda. You take about 90% of that, and your budget is protected. Even me, I can't touch it. So you enact a law to protect your budget from the other oversight. So this is difficult. So legalistically, yes, we passed the law, it is within the law, the parliamentary commission, that you can't challenge him. I think that's why then the party would say it is only Buntuburam that you step down. But they didn't say, we command you to step down. You start getting, you tie yourself into legalities. And we know that in next year, I think next year, May, a member of parliament can, without any legal consequence, say, I'm not part of your party.
Yeah, true.
So this one you can hold if you went legalistic. You can hold until the person is there and then says, okay, I'm no longer part of you. So the NUP, in my view, cleverly said, we are appealing to your morality. To one, take back the money. Two, apologize to Ugandans. Three, step down. Yeah. Now those are the words. For me, this is nothing to do with those. Why it has taken the center stage? Because this has been happening. Everyone has taken money from parliament, including the leaders of the current leaders of the political parties. Yeah. Including the one who is the author of the letter, principally, if we think that it's a party letter. He has also taken money, some hundreds of billions from parliament of his casino. They call it casino.
Bobby Wine.
Yes. He has taken some hundreds of millions from parliament for his casino. So, so this one is when we go to politics, we know that the Honorable Chagulanyi's brother has been in the constituency of Mpuga, in Mpuga's backyard, mobilizing against him.
Against Mpuga?
Yes. Kunga something. We know. We also know from the media, at least, the mainstream media, I'm not just talking about social media, one can dismiss social media, from the mainstream media, that there has been a lot of unease between these two. Yeah. So when you have this moral infraction, you give an opportunity to your adversary to go after you. Okay. Yes. So yes, you committed an infraction. That is for sure. But you give platform. You see, you look at the master gorilla, my leader. When he wants to go after somebody, they first hammer the person. They put their that. So you find that one person in the whole NRA outfit is looked at as if they are the only ones who are corrupt.
So you fault Honorable Mpuga for giving a chance his enemies to lash at him? Yes, he gave an opportunity. What I am, then I fault the other one for not having the political astuteness, not to go that way, not to go all out. They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have gone all out. They should have gone out, but not all out. You see, when you go all out, after you have sent your brother to go undermine him in his backyard, you also now take away from yourself some of the high ground you had. And that's the problem they are facing. Because there have been similar infractions by party members, taking money, the ones which is undeclared, they declare it, but they don't have this all-out attack. You say this attack would have been, this is a high person, this is an example, but after you have been in his backyard sending your brother to undermine him, you have a problem saying your reason is the more high. So you agree with Mpuga, like in his response, where he mentions that he's a target for a funded project to character assassinate his image and moral position, but of course, but again, you think it is, this decision is a culmination of possible intrigue within the party leadership, and more particularly between either Bobby Wine's family and Mathias Mpuga? For me, two things. One, I disagree with him for not owning up to his mistake. He did.
I haven't read that. He did in his document, in his
Oh,
statement?
no, at least
I haven't read that.
from what they
I
tell
don't
us.
know from the other side. For me, I think from the other side, there is absolute manipulation of what happened there.
Oh.
Yeah. From his statement, he doesn't own up. So I fault him
So
for
he
that.
should have owned up.
Absolutely.
And then when you own up, you must then either apologize, as they said, or step down and
Yeah, but yes, so he
revert.
didn't own up. Two, I tell you the other ones, do not come here with clean hands.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Charity, take your shot. Looks like a new opposition political party, which many of you and others thought it had started strong, looks like it is developing cracks which are not actually being managed well. They're actually deepening.
So, the statement that Honorable Mpuga put out starts by saying he does not believe that the statement that had been put out by National Unity Platform is actually coming from National Unity Platform. And he seems to play politics now and say this is a falsehood. It's not signed, and legally speaking, he knows that for you to authenticate a document.
Somebody should have signed the document.
But if you look at the document that appointed Gilbert Mukenya, people also first doubted this document. They said, is this authentic? But
Though it
even-
had a seal of State House.
It had a seal of State House, fine. But it was a different headed paper. It wasn't the usual State House paper that we are used to. But you know, even the King of England, King Charles, released a statement when he found out his health status. And it came in almost a similar fashion. People kept saying, is this really from Buckingham Palace? Is it? So I don't know whether it's a new trend or sometimes people forget to ensure the legalese of all documents are followed. But it's important to always have it dated.
But good enough, they
Signed.
came later and owned up.
Yes.
Even the
National
spokesperson.
Unity, yes. Even Louis Lubongoya also said it is authentic. That said, I hear what my brother Richard is saying here, but I want to take a deviation on two grounds.
If you had
One-
it, I would be surprised, Charity.
One, one, that Mpuga, we had a lot of hope in him. And hardly would believe that a lawyer, impeccable as himself, was going to be inside the pot of what it is. But as it is, members of parliament, none of them is clean. We've not seen any member of parliament who is clean. All of them have money that is in the closet with skeletons waiting on them. If we had to open those closets, you will see so many skeletons falling out with money similar to Mpuga's money. But because he had tried to live and put across to the public an impeccable character, knowing that his political party had a certain standing to do with corruption, to do with the way business is handled in parliament, I had hoped better from Matthias Mpuga. And so for me and those of my ilk, this is a shocker. That he...
You're disappointed with Mpuga?
Yes, extremely disappointed. That as a person who was supposed to be of impeccable character,
For taking what actually
he sat in the
legally belongs to him?
He sat in the meeting and apportioned the money.
But you see, Charity...
That is how it works.
Wait a minute.
That is how legally it works.
Charity and,
So-
Richard, he's a commission already.
And a leader of opposition.
And it is the commission that appropriates.
So he
And that's
knew,
part of the rules.
So he
Money,
knew,
it's part of
so
the
he-
rules.
So it's part of the rules. So he knew how much he was appropriating himself.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Was it to his benefit or it wasn't to his benefit? And this is exactly what Parliament does also to themselves.
Yes.
Like they have told you
That's
that,
what we are saying. It is a standard.
The Minister of Finance, I mean the PSST of Finance has said, you appropriate yourselves a lot of money and you even caveat it and ensure we can't touch that money. But knowing that he knows the story of corruption in this country, knowing that he knows the question of taxpayers' money, knowing that he knows the pain of ordinary Ugandans because he came on a ticket.
What should he have done?
He should have appropriated what he thinks is modest, or if not, the way that committee...
The commission has very many members, and
No, but the
majority
other
of
thing-
them
He was the
are
chairperson
from
of
government.
this.
No, Charity.
He was the chairperson of this committee.
Let me give you the standard of
He was-
modesty. For the former speakers, their cars are 700 million. So this one is modest according to the current
All
parliament.
the 500 million.
The other ones get just the car is 700 million.
Well-
so this is quite modest according to this parliament.
But for me, there is the second angle, which you tried to take, the one of him sending that NUP has sent Nyanzi into the constituency to try and be the foot
undermine
soldier,
him.
undermining Mpuga. But Nyanzi right now is at loggerheads with Bobi Wine, saying Bobi Wine has refused to approve his party ticket to stand as a mayor in Kampala. And he's telling him, even if you don't approve of me and yet I groomed you, I will come as a mayor on NUP. So Bobi Wine is also in a very delicate position, even if you were him, in his position where he is. And Mpuga, okay, if he was appropriating, according to the rules the way they are, is it that his political party did not understand that he was supposed to be appropriating? Why were they asking him if he took the money, and why was he acknowledging? Then why is he writing this letter? Which seems to exonerate himself.
Richard told us possibly they were looking for an in-law. They were looking
And in
for
his
an
letter,
opportunity
Apollo,
to hit at him.
in his letter,
Yes.
he says they have distorted
Yeah.
the letter and spirit of that meeting. That's why they probably didn't even sign the document. In his letter, when he
Yeah,
really
that's
says
what he
it's a
said.
distortion.
That's what he says, but it is their word against his.
Thank you.
Because we have two letters. We have one from the political party,
Which is
and
not
we have-
signed.
And we have his own letter that is coming out, and it's also playing politics because it starts at a political level.
Okay.
Now the problem with playing paralysis, because this is paralysis for the public, when two people who attended the meeting come and talk two different things, and yet both of them were there, that's what I call paralysis. Now, what needs to happen is clearly what was expected of Mpuga from the political party. Let us get to know what was the expectation. And let us also get to know at this point, yes, the party is going to disentangle. It's going to fall apart. But we've always known that NUP was going to fall apart from the start.
We'll get to that. Dr. General Rwala, I think now the issue your two co-panelists have raised is whether Mpuga was at fault to receive a service award or not. Address yourself
Service
to that
grant.
first.
Apple, of course, my colleagues have addressed the moral issue. Of course, it is really a moral issue that you sit yourself and you decide to award yourself. That's exactly what happened. For me, what only I'm surprised about, and the trend the discussion has taken in the public, is that the public seems to be shocked about Mpuga, not the other ones. Is it because they have grown a thick skin that they are used to hearing stories from the NRM side? Because we know that in this meeting there was a speaker.
Who is the chair?
Chair of the commission.
The Prime Minister.
We know that there was
The deputy speaker.
We know that there was the Honorable Afoyo Chan, who received 400 million. We know that the Honorable Serwanyi was there, another commissioner who received 400 million. We know that there is Akampurida, who received 400 million. Then Mpuga 500 million.
And they said for the speaker, when they go, they will get 2.5 billion.
Yes.
As a service grant.
Now,
After
if you
their
see
work.
in the last
So
parliament,
you see how ingenious this parliament is, full of thieves.
the president dismissed the last parliament, the president dismissed the former clerk to parliament, Madam Helen Kawes, in public interest. And the reason was that the administration of parliament was over diluted, where the technical person was not doing what they were supposed to do. They brought a permanent secretary there, the clerk, who came from Minister of Defense, the Honorable Adolf Mwesiji.
Formerly the minister.
Formerly managing UPDF people to go and be the clerk to parliament. Now, it should be the technical wing probably that would have advised, yes, you are awarding this money to yourselves, but what is the procedure? Who qualifies for the service award? What are the benchmarks?
Correct.
You know?
But
then that is important.
But I think we need to ask ourselves.
What have you achieved to receive that award? If I ask today, for your chan or a company, what is that they achieved, which is so special,
Doctor,
that deserve, and they are back in office. They are still commissioners.
Doctor,
you need a standard.
We need to ask ourselves.
You need a standard.
We need to ask ourselves, is it the first time commissioners or even the leader of opposition
the service grant
is being awarded for service?
It's not the first time.
Well, we know, we have had stories of people sharing money, but we have not seen a situation where the group shares such amount of money and says they are awarding themselves for good performance. Who evaluated them? That they have served us very well, and therefore they can sit and say, we have served very well.
It is within the power of the commission
but it is
to
within
do that.
The commission to appropriate for
It is wrong if
staff and
if there is to be a reward system, it has to be well developed and it should not be person to holder basis.
Exactly.
What is so special? Because in the minutes they talk about person to holder, it will not apply to any other person.
Yes,
what
there is no
so
rule or law against that. In fact, in public service, that practice happens a lot. A person to holder payment happens.
But you wait, Richard, before person to holder payment happening, the cars which Kadaga left in parliament, which now the present speaker handed over, you know that decision has been reversed? Because after handing over the first set of cars, government realized this was a leakage, a huge leakage. So now if this is going to be left to be service to holder, I want to be a parliamentary commissioner tomorrow. Because, I mean, I'm also going to...
how can I support that? I would be happy to support you in that. I want you as a commission.
I want to go and make sure I eat 5 billion
Absolutely.
also.
I'm happy
that
to
when
support
I'm leaving, I have served you enough. But even when I arrive, for me, immediately I will say, on a daily basis, I should have 300 million.
So the problem is...
But where is it coming from?
There is a moral problem
in the conflict of interest.
Yes, that is a conflict of interest, which is against the parliamentary code of conduct.
There is no standard for which that money is being awarded.
So, Dr. Jared Were, you also join Richard
Actually, if they are applying the parliamentary code of conduct on Zake because of these useless cases against Zake, they should invoke the parliament code of conduct on all the people who sat in that meeting and benefited from that money. Because they have a duty under their own rules of procedure to fight corruption. They have a duty to act in public interest. You cannot sit in a meeting, reward yourselves without a clear framework upon which you are rewarding yourself.
So you agree that NUP leadership in Kamocha were right and correct?
Yes, morally.
In their instructive document to
Morally,
tell Mpuga to resign, revert the money, but also apologize.
The action they took was actually absolutely in order. The only challenge where I fault them is that we had 2 years ago where they had just come to office, where the Honorable Dr. Kagabo, who now moves with the MK movement, came up and said, we were thanked with 40 million. We were thanked with 40 million, and we got it in the account. Kagabo is not crazy. He's very normal. So when he came, and they said, okay, if you received, bring it to the chief whip. The poor man, I don't know, rich man or what, loitered with the 40 million shillings. The money became a problem for him because everyone And he said, people have eaten, including in my own party.
So
There was
you
no
also
action.
fault them for playing double standards.
Absolutely.
The leadership at Kamucha.
Because, yes,
In fact, I don't want Mpuga to return the money. He's not the only one who ate. So, okay, the standard is that it is wrong what he has done. But what is he returning it for? Is he the only one who has eaten it?
Okay.
All the other people have eaten, and even this one has added salt to the wound. Other people have even appropriated themselves 2 billion.
Yeah, for
Only.
speakers.
Only. The word only. Is
Your money, when you are writing it, you add the word
Mpuga,
only.
please go back and be a commissioner and even eat 5 billion.
Thank you so much.
Because
That
that's the
is
only thing to do.
that is a fair decision from Charita himself. A fair verdict on the side of Mpuga. We will take on your messages and observations, send them right now. Tell us what you think of what is happening in the opposition national unity platform. Is it imploding? What is the future of the opposition political party that is now that is now fighting fighting with intrigue, internal intrigue, and of course that may lead to dissent within the ranks. For the first time, abantu bafunye obwenkanya because court sat immediately. One was judged to death from the People's Court. Now we are waiting Owunyidolo's court for the 2 remaining in their hands. Did you get a connection between what this message is telling us with what
Maybe
we are
he's saying
discussing?
that they should be taken to court.
Hey.
That already the public court has.
Oh, the public court has decided, and then possibly it should move on to another court.
I wanted to conclude on
Thank you so much, Moranita Investment. That is your message, and I wanted to read some few other messages, but most of them are thanking us for the good show, like Alex from Chisugu and others. Quickly,
I wanted to conclude on
put it out.
something. We have here 3 arms of the state. We have the executive. I will exempt that one because I know the challenge is that side. And then I will also comment about the judiciary, where the Chief Justice, the head. We all know that the PS that side is the Mr. who? Bigirimana, Pius. Pius, when he can stand, the Judicial Service Commission could decide and take a decision, but he will stick and he will not put a pen on something if he knows probably it's not right, and probably he want. If you go there, he's really powerful. The judges know him, the justices of the Supreme Court know him. Now, in that parliament, the speaker has not authorized money. It is the technical wing, the clerks of that authorize money. These people do policy. So if you are permanent secretary there, I will describe the Honorable Adolf as a permanent secretary.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, you are a PS that side. You know that there is no rewarding system. Why do you go ahead to release the money? But if I ask myself, how do they go through audit at the Auditor General's office? Because some of these documents we are picking are from Auditor General, Inspectorate of Government. People have presented evidence there. So for me, I think there is a problem with the institution.
But as you question the rewarding system in Parliament, I remember very well when the issue of the cars that were given to former speakers was a matter of discussion. It took us back to the Administration of Parliament Act. It's embedded there somehow that the former leaders, the leaders are given gratuity.
Yes, gratuity is there, but also we have the PPDA law. If you had the cars, you can either give them at a disposal price and they take them, okay, or they can be advertised and sold.
Isn't it another matter now?
Yes, that's another matter. For me, if I wrap it up, okay, 1, Parliament and the administration of Parliament and execution of their mandate and are breaking their own laws.
Okay.
They are breaking the national laws on corruption, and they are really treating the citizens of this country with with the disrespect, because, and then the other is, if we are choosing commissioners there, what character, what people, or it is just a rotten institution that even if you take a credible person, the person will go there and change and also join the eating. Like today, I would want to know what is the NRM saying about the character of their commissioners, who actually they brought back to office. They rewarded themselves in May. They are back in office, and don't be shocked if they reward themselves with a billion another 2.5 years later, because they know there's nothing that's going to be done.
Gentlemen and the lady, looks like it's more of a moral issue than a legal issue. I don't know.
I think if you take it to the Parliament Code of Conduct, the law, it also becomes a legal issue.
A legal issue.
Conflict of interest is corruption. It is well described in our laws.
It can actually pass for abuse of office.
Abuse of office.
Because although Mpuga carefully selects his words, as usual a lawyer would select his words, he says what is legally permissible, that the committee has what is legally permissible. So this committee, legally permissible, it's legally permissible to give the speakers 2.5 service grant, and it's legally permissible to give a leader of opposition 500 million, legally permissible to give other commissioners 400 million at the expense of the taxpayer. Wow, I like the legalese and the permissibility of this legality.
Thank you. And let's quickly now.
You have also decided now to lawyer.
Because this is what he's saying. He's not giving the parameters.
Yes.
There is ambiguity in that whole framework.
Okay.
And what needs to happen urgently, we are always calling for reforms, is that let's get in there. The first thing to reform is that.
Okay. Good morning, Apollo and the panel. Long time. This madness going on in the opposition just keeps dividing us, the opposition supporters. Like I said last year, in Uganda, I think we are still not ready for multi-party democracy. We should have one party, just like China, so that we stop this nonsense in our political parties. Because now almost all opposition parties have at least 2 or 3 branches. We are tired and very tired, because now I don't trust any politician in Uganda, be it opposition or ruling party. I think this is Major Tim Joel in Chirinya. Let me hope so. Thank you so much for your observation there. And that now takes us to the future of NUP and possibly the impact of what is happening, the infightings in NUP to the political future of this country. Richard, what do you make? These were strong statements from a deputy president, actually, I mean going direct to his party and more particularly his president, Bobby Wine, talking about small family politics, something like that, and imputing many big accusations to his fellows in NUP.
First, it is important to point out any of the parties which doesn't have family dominance. Yeah,
DP.
for me.
I'm wearing green shoes today.
Okay. Okay, thanks for giving me a good laugh this morning.
DP, I saw the head of state the other saying that if Mao turns up for registration,
that they register him.
They should register him. So we don't know whether DP
So
said that.
that's why this familism in our politics is taking root. At all levels, by the way. Yes. So there is this familism. But to the other question you asked about where
the future of this party.
I will say what I have said again. Perhaps the viewers will not remember, or they were different. That NUP cannot come back with the same power it had. There is no way NUP can have the same momentum.
Oh.
It was a momentary situation. It went away. 2, I said we are going to have another political vehicle, another electoral vehicle come
Besides
2026. And this FDC and whatever. We are going to have another. Let me tell you when this became public, because it was only a matter of time. It was always being talked about. It's just that they had not come head on head. It was just a matter of time. I think there are three people who must be clapping very much in this. One is my friend Ibrahim Semujunganda. Because for him, he has already declared, come May, he is out of the FDC. They are looking to create a vehicle. Now you have accelerated Mpuga's movement
To find another home.
to that side. Yes, you have accelerated. And he must be a very welcome addition. The second person is Dr. Chiza Besigye. Because every time you have the Honorable Chaguranyi blundering politically, like I think he did this time.
Is it another political blunder?
My standpoint is that he blundered this time. The frontal attack for me was a blunder. You need to do the gorilla way, in my view, encircle and swallow, but gradually and strategically. I think the head-on crash is a ghetto approach. So the one who therefore benefits from the Honorable Chaguranya's blundering is Dr. Chiza Besigye. He's the alternative in the opposition. Of course, finally, is the General Vengo, the leader, the gorilla master. Because there is a likelihood that you can push this one this side. In his independence, remaining independent, then he would be leaning somewhere.
Actually, now the people who are defending him, most of them are on the other side.
No, by the way, there has been two groups, in my view, in NUP. What I call the Komanyoko group, the ones who will come out and...
The riffraff?
No, they are not really riffraff. They are the ones who have the capacity to say Komanyoko publicly and call you all kinds of things. You are this body part and you are the other body part on their social media handles. And then there is the other one which is not able to do that, but still opposition and still NUP. Now that's the real split. Yeah, that is happening, in my view.
So this,
and it will only leave them weaker.
This whole thing is splitting NUP into two.
No, it is not splitting.
Groups.
It is uncovering the already existing split.
Oh. Okay, Charity, what do you make of the future of NUP after all these strong statements traded between two top leaders?
Mpuga, in his letter, he talks of the unpalatable terms of the different brands of politicians in NUP. Meaning that there are several brands within NUP. And if you do not belong to my brand, then you are unpalatable to me.
Unpalatable in courts, possibly.
Those were his words. Those were his
He's a
words.
lawyer,
And by the time he was selecting them, yes, he's a lawyer. By the time he was selecting them, he had carefully thought about them. Okay? That in other words, if you are not the refined politician or who puts across the image of refined, calm, able to gladiate with the times, break away from the norm, but also have the sanctity to deal with political matters with those of your standing, then you do not belong to my class.
Wow.
And then there is also this class which says, for us, we just hit it as it is. And we are opposition. Now, if those classes have existed from the time NUP was created, and indeed by the time we go to the next election, they'll be weaker. There's going to be a new vehicle that comes out of NUP. Either NUP will continue to get new players like Besigye joining them, because these days I've been having press conferences with Besigye, with Winnie Kiza, with Ant. You know, they've been having joint press conferences. But we've also seen a joint press conference that was addressed by Kabuleta and his need, together with Mukaku, and it was also addressed by Joseph Othieno of UPC and another faction of people. So there is also another arm that seems to be growing, another political arm that is growing somewhere. Either we shall have 3 or 4 new formations that are coming, for which we will not know which formation actually stands for the people, like what Tim is saying, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to join any political party. What is going to happen is that everybody is looking for their own interests. And everybody who is going into politics in 2026 is going there looking for 500 million like Mpuga was looking. So we better stop pointing fingers. Those fingers are also pointing back at the rest of the politicians. And this is what he called everyone to do in his letter. He said if other MPs have been given this service grant, they've never returned that money. Why is it that when it came to me, somebody else is turning it around and calling it corruption to make me appear in the public as a corrupt man? You are assassinating my character. He selected those words.
He says if such a payments amounted to corruption,
yes,
all current and previous MPs would be compelled to refund to the public coffers monies paid as gratuity or honoraria, since no MP current and previous was not paid gratuity
but that is not
at
his
the determination
of
the parliamentary commission.
No, it is not his gratuity,
that is not gratuity,
but it is a service grant.
Parliament has its own pension.
I think what he's saying,
and yes,
what he's saying, yes, and it's
no,
true.
he's saying they would even return the gratuity, you know.
If all the money, his statement, if all the money appropriated in the same manner was corruption.
But he shouldn't mix up gratuity.
But gratuity is appropriated in the same way. It is not pension. No, it is gratuity, gratuitous.
But it is well speculated within the law.
This is also in the rules.
Richard,
this is the point.
This figure of 500 million, Richard, is not in the law.
No, it is not. It is in the rules. You don't have to put every provision in the law.
No,
the law allows the commission to give.
It
for the welfare of Parliament.
What I'm saying,
it is not illegal.
He's mixing right and wrong things.
No, it is not illegal. You can say it's immoral, but it's not illegal.
Listen, Richard, I agree with Wanzala.
That's why I said it's more of a moral issue.
And I said that.
He played politics in his letter
but
to favor him.
Okay.
But his politics is clear. He's saying, do not use my circumstance to make me look evil to the public. His only problem is to mix issues.
Look, he says the campaign to character assassinate me is deliberate, and I'm perfectly aware. It is well orchestrated and well funded.
Correct.
I am ready for the worst if it takes this sacrifice to return sanity and common sense to our politics.
Correct. Because he's saying
do those statements
they reflect the anger he has had for a period of time. They also reflect the different groupings that are within the National Unity Platform. And he, down there in that letter, he seems to say if you're not a family member, then you don't enjoy the political party the way the other family members are enjoying the political party.
From your opinion, Charity, do these statements from Mpuga tell of a person who is ready to go back to Kamocha and work with the group?
No, they tell of a person who is ready to move on.
Wow.
They tell of a person who is ready to form
Dr. Gerard Wanzala, the future of this party and possibly how it will affect, these decisions will affect the political future of Uganda. You have only 3 minutes.
Of course, we are discussing here a lot, we who monitor every day, but I'm not yet very convinced that we are moving together with the grassroots. Because there are a lot of things we discuss here and they pass. Because the minds of our voters are occupied with the barrios, the gardens, the waraji that Richard is fighting. So at the end of the day, you may find people even not remembering some of these things at the time of elections. So I still believe that NUP is going to give NRM a run for its money, especially in the central. But expansion of the NUP beyond its traditional stronghold could be a problem, could be difficult. I see the emergency of the other vehicle that might collect some NUP rejects, some FDC runaways, and some the solidarity of the disadvantaged from other groups, including maybe from civil society and so forth. So we shall see another vehicle.
Okay.
And but as a country, we are in this confusion and we are going to continue being in it if we don't get a big stick and hammer this moral crisis
Okay.
on its head.
And he says there's nobody who did.
Because-
Is there anybody who didn't eat the money? Even Bobby ate 350 from government. I don't know. I don't have evidence to that. Somebody thinks everybody either in Kamocha is eating. He's called Nabireba Matthias.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for.
Just a second, Apple. For the benefit of viewers, the Parliament needs a Pension Act decided to be paying these MPs their gratuity every year. It is within the law. It is predictable. They know how much they receive every year. It comes into their account.
Oh.
Then a smaller percentage when they leave is given at lump sum after. But for them, they wanted it that way because they said they didn't want, when they leave Parliament, to become paupers. They want to receive their money every year so they can use it for their own development.
Okay.
So any other money outside that has to raise questions.
Evil money. Hi, this is
Even
Johnson.
that one,
Wait
when
a minute.
it was
Wait a minute.
appropriated, raised questions.
Okay.
Because the Ugandans said the MPs were overpaying themselves.
Okay.
Even at that time.
Hi, this is Johnson. Honestly, you can't fight what you are doing in closed doors. It's legally, morally wrong to fight corruption when you eat from the same in closed doors. I honestly thank Robert Chagulanyi for this move. Honorable Mpuga should be kind enough to himself and step aside. If Mpuga was right, he should have made sure that the act of 500 million is open to all the coming ropes. But on the other note, that's what Anita Monk can do when she is in the lead. First, beat Zake out. Secondly, give yourselves money and enjoy. And that is Johnson. Those are the opinions from our viewers. We are waiting for Mpuga to command us to the next destination. This is Norbert from Kabare. Mbebaza program enungi nze Sarah from Lakai mbadde nteesa. Listen to our viewers, gentlemen and lady. We are winding up. Mbebaza program enungi nze Sarah from Lakai mbadde nteesa NUP batule bakanye nga bo. Thank you so much, Sarah from Lakai. Calling for dialogue. Is dialogue still possible in NUP?
Everything is possible.
Okay.
Didn't you see Ruto here and
Raila?
Raila?
Eh.
It is always possible.
Let us wait until Senyonyi also retires. I hope he's not ready to be paid too. Okay. And let me check the name.
And if the gratuity,
Okay.
the service grant will be taken away.
The name is not there. Gentlemen, we are running out of time. We only have barely 2 minutes. Let me hear from you. Richard, your parting shot. Where do you think this leaves the 2016 race?
2026.
2026 race.
No, in the 2026 race, I am very happy to look for funds and mobilize networks and support the bid of Charity to be a parliamentary commissioner, and so that then we can be part of this, of this eating fray.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
yes,
so much.
yes. Thank you, Richard. And I just want to pick it up from there. I think 2026 election is going to be a very not good election for Uganda. But it will be an election that will help us reflect on the past and on the future.
Will it be any different from other elections we had before?
I said it will be an election to help us. It will be different because every election that comes with a new dynamic.
Okay.
The 2016 election had Amama Mbabazi and the dynamic of TDA. The 2021 election had the new
Bobby Wine
and the wave. The 2011 election had the walk to work.
I want you to state that you think it won't be Bobby Wine again.
Now,
Vis-a-vis
the
President
2026 election will have a vehicle of young people who look at the future. But there will also be the old guns looking at retaining.
Not commanded by Bobby Wine.
Maybe Bobby Wine, maybe a new army.
Your parting shot, Doctor?
I see a difficult election because the struggle to maintain the current order versus the struggle for the young people to release themselves from what they think they are captured by the older persons. So I see that playing out, and of course I will see one side fighting with all state mercenary to defeat the the other
Do
one.
you see a more organized opposition or a more disgruntled and divided opposition?
We are not going to have an organized opposition, but Ugandans will be organized around someone.
Thank
way
you
it
so
has been
much.
happening.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much, the panel of Richard Baguma, Charity Himsibwe, and Dr. Jerry Werewanzala. It's a pleasure having you on the show, the original dialoguers. Thank you so much, our viewers, for the messages and comments and for sticking with us for all these 2 hours. Let's catch up next week on Saturday in another edition of The Dialogue. I must wish you a very good afternoon.